What do you think about prevention programs to help gang and drug involvement in our schools?
I think that would be an awesome idea. Many of the youth these days, sometimes they don't have maybe like a parent or some kind of authority figure in the household.
And I think it's a very, very needed and necessary program. I mean, I think every school should have it.
That would be a great idea. It's definitely needed. A lot of our youth are, faced with those challenges as it relates to gangs.
We've got enough influences from the outside world that come in and impact children's lives from a negative perspective.
So you want to combat that. And they spend a good bit of their time, not just at home, facing those challenges and temptations, but in the school.
And I think that if we can catch it in the beginning, which I think doing that in schools, it would definitely enable us to be able to do that. Catch it in the beginning, you can really stop a lot of future violence that goes on.
And so if the school can meet them there to help them combat the challenges they face at home, it'll help them make the right choices.
It would make people think more about what decisions they need to make before happening, so that structure would enhance people to think more in a positive way instead of negatively.
You hear more and more of the adults that are in these children's lives not showing the right way to live.
I think prevention programs like Seeds of Prevention would really be good to give them a positive influence.
And maybe those groups would influence others that may be going down the wrong path, so that prevention group would help them to think before they do.
It's because there's so much opportunity when you step outside of those walls that they've got to be strong enough within themselves with prevention programs that would help them say, you know what, that's not what I want for my life. I want better. I want to go to high school. I want to graduate. I think there's an opportunity to impact graduation rates with prevention programs like this, just so that you're not looking and seeing that there's more prosperity in going towards a gang.
It gives them an outside look from an adult perspective, maybe choices that they don't realize that they have, and the consequences of potentially if they were to go down that road.
I think that it is a very great program that we're implementing into the, not only just the Memphis schools, but different state schools.
It gives children and teens an outside look versus what their peers think.
I see a lot of times that there are so many influencers that tell teens or youth what's cool from what the world's perspective is. But we got to make them be okay with doing what's right.
They've got to have something positive in their life to strive. They need something to look forward to.
Especially with the gangs and the violence that is going on and the kids' just activity of violence, I think it's an awesome thing that we're starting to see an impact within the schools.
I am so thankful that there are people stepping up in this community that want to help these kids.
And have more and more of that's going to help uplift them and help empower them to not be influenced by what someone else says, but have something inside or have something from a teaching perspective that would give them the opportunity to understand that, hey, there's a way to do it without being involved in gang or drug violence.
So many times parents tell them there's nothing to look forward to, that there's, they see their parents or cousin or uncle selling drugs and making money, and well, they make a lot of money, so then they idolize them and want to be just like them.
I've seen teens that have looked at gangs and said, this is my family. I think a prevention program in our school system is going to give them the opportunity to recognize that you can have family right in a safe haven and that you can be positive and uplifting.
This generation is the forgotten kids. Somebody needs to be looking after these kids and giving a positive role model.
I think it would be an excellent idea to have intervention while they're at school among their peers from someone who has been down their road on the path that they are going on for their future. So I think it would be an awesome idea, and I think it will be helpful for our youth for today.
So tell us, what is SOIPSOP?
SOIPSOP. I'm glad you asked. Hello, my name is Roy Chapman. I'm founder and president of SOIPSOP. which stands for Sources of Intervention, Produce Seeds of Prevention. It's a great program to help a lot of teens and seniors, as well as the 11th and 9th graders that feel like they need some type of intervention because they're getting a lot of other influences and a lot of other things. I brought this program together because I believe that a lot of times, if you know teacher math, she's trying to teach math. Teacher social studies are trying to teach social studies. But you always have in some of those classes a teacher drug dealer as well, or a teacher gangbanger. What I mean by that is because they're being taught things in the hallways on the way to school that teacher math ain't getting their attention. And I believe if we put sources of intervention in there, someone that may have traveled that road, know about that road, then you need teacher math to continue to teach the math, and you need teacher social studies still teach social studies. But we need some courses of action that intervention is our most prominent power force that can allow students, kids that are being influenced by other things to be preventing them from going down certain paths, certain roads, certain hardships. I'm inducing that sources of intervention can be that program that can help a lot of teens make a better decision outside of the impulse decisions that they're making. That's what SOIPSOP stands for. Sources of Intervention, Produce Seeds of Prevention. That's what we need to be implemented in a lot of our children's lives today.
So where is Seeds of Prevention program more effective?
I believe Seeds of Prevention programs would be more effective inside of our schools. This is where I believe that a lot of our influence are being made at. If you go in the hallways, you can ask a student about math, social studies, and all those academics. I'm pretty much know that they know more about the hip-hop culture, they know about the gang involvement as well as the drug dealing or the drug of choice. Because all of this influence has to be given somewhere, and I believe it's being done on the way to school, in the hallways, and not in the classroom. I believe it would be an effective program to reach our children right where they're effectively being taught at. In the hallways, in the schools, mentorships, school facilitating. A lot of the police department have already started programs inside the school that allows kids to make a better, speak out against violence and all these other academic things they're doing. I'm believing Sources of Intervention can be a program that can be a preventable program that allows children to be able to make a choice outside of the choices that's giving them harsh consequences. A lot of these consequences they get are leading them to places where they don't want to be. You know, you have a lot of them that's already been in juvenile court. You have a lot of them that's already been in juvenile detention. You have a lot of them that's already been down to the county jail. I think that's tells us that we need a prevention plan going on somewhere.
I see that you are an author. What is the name of your book? And tell us how it came about.
Yes, I am an author. I give that credit to my lifestyle. The title of the book is called Risen. He didn't have to do it, but he did it anyway. The Life Story of Royal Chapman. The lifestyle of Royal Chapman was the embracing of me coming up with the concept of the book. It's from a lifestyle in which that I knew when I grew up in a home that didn't have a father. I knew how it was to live without a father in a home, let alone not a father, but ended up having a mother die with cancer. Learning the streets a lot longer than, a lot faster than I should have. This is what's impacted my life to be led down decision makings that I should have made, but I made. Consequences come with every choice I made in my life. And those consequences wasn't all good. Those consequences I believe that are teachable and reachable to our students today and our young today and our youth today, because a lot of us are finding out that single parent home, or we finding out the reason, the causes of why we're making choices, but there always is a consequence to our choice. This is why I wrote the book, and this is why this book has become effective to so many that read it and so many that I go and I speak and I mentor about it. I believe that the impactable choices that a lot of our children are making and youth are making, we're making it off bitterness, we're making it off impulses of what our childhood was or what was in the home, what was not in the home. And these choices led me down that I was beat in the head with a hammer 2x4. I was shot in the neck with a 9mm. I lived a lifestyle that I thought many thought that it was lavish in the lifestyle, but it was not. It was one that almost took my life. Not only took my life, it incarcerated me for a natural life. And blessing in, as you see me still speaking today, I was governed pardoned because of that sentence, but I spent 18 years incarcerated. What am I saying is, I'm giving you a life story. That's why it's called Risen. He didn't have to do it, but he did it anyway. The life story, not someone else's story. The life story of Royal Chapman.
So tell us, who is Royal Chapman?
The Royal Chapman now is the same Royal Chapman that grew up not really knowing how much potential was inside. But this Royal Chapman that you speak to today has fully understanding, fully awareness of the potential that God has placed inside of me. not only for me, but for our youth, before those, that I can be able to give a glimpse and a glimpse of hope that even though brokenness started in our growing up in our youth, we still can find the prosperity and we can find the potential God placed inside of us. A lot of young men out there are running. They're running because they're still trying to discover who they are. They're still trying to discover who their dad are. They're still trying to discover who loves them and who does not. They're still trying to discover why this and why not and who's this and where's that. Well, today Royal Chapman has came up, not with the answers for them. Royal Chapman had to come up with the answers for him. But I can always be a mentor and a guide for those that run up that same path that I used to run. They're doing the same things I used to do. Trying to partake in a lifestyle that I thought was worth living. But all of the consequences of those only gave me better choices today. Royal Chapman today, let me tell you. Once was a man that didn't know himself. Once was a man that was lost in bitterness. Once was a man that didn't even know how he was a man because he still didn't know how to be a boy. But all of a sudden, this Royal Chapman you speak today, he was a manager over 3,400 Walmarts. He was a vice president of the cell towers company. He sits now with his own prevention program. And before that, he's an ordained pastor. What I'm saying is, I'm telling you about the potential. Someone that looks at the school mentor and facilitate, talking to young children that need to know who they are as young men, who they are trying to discover themselves today. Royal Chapman is someone that would love to be a mentor and a facilitator, or someone that can reach out to the youth and to cry out and to just be an example that you can grow up. You don't have to be that boy on the run. You can be the man that God has always called you to be.
What is your goals for the coming years with seizure prevention?
I believe that it's there. I believe it's the future. I believe the goals that we're setting is not for just some small impact. That a lot of times programs start and they run and they fizzle out. But I believe the common goal for seizure prevention is something that be impacted not only in our greater Memphis area, not only in our DeSoto County, not only in our Mississippi area, but I'm looking for a statewide impact. That seizure prevention can be something that any other nation, any other school having the same problems we have over here in Memphis schools, in the greater Memphis area, in the DeSoto County, in Mississippi, in the Clarksdales, in all these areas, the same problem is deriving in every school in any state. You can go to any state, any school district. Children are learning implicable and impactable things that is causing them to either want to know about game, want to get involved into drug, what's the known drug, what's the known turn up, what's the known this, what's the known that. I believe that the goal is to need to be set, that it just don't start here and happen here. Seizure prevention wants to be an impact to other states and the future. Our future relies on the generation now. So I believe seizure prevention impact should be the generation that is holding up a generation and lifting up a generation, and that is holding up a generation that may have fell through the cracks. I believe that the future revolves around seizure prevention. That's my impact. That's my common goal. So that's where I want to see seizure prevention at, not only in the greater Memphis area, but I want to see it impacted our schools and the children's lives that's involved right now. Please come online. See us at www.soipsop. You can contact us right there, or you can contact me at rchapman@soipsop.com. And we look forward to hearing from you. And we try to send out a prevention specialist your way, see what we can do. We got mentors, we got motivational speakers, we have pastoral reading, we have all whatever source of intervention that need to be in place. We have it, and we can send a source out there for you. Thank you for taking your time once again. Put you on the list here.